Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Straggy, and today I have another review for you of a film from 1972 that has to do with the martial arts, and it stars the legendary Bruce Lee in a film called Fist of Fury, otherwise known as The Chinese Connection. Now, here's what it looks like, and I actually picked this up in a box set at Walmart when they were selling it. Actually, I picked it up at the downtown bookstore here in Milwaukee, so it was different to pick it up there. But Fists of Fury is... This was the first time that I had seen this film, and from what I know about it is Raymond Chow was a producer from Hong Kong who had just started what eventually became Golden Harvest Productions. The Big Boss was the first production, but second production, which was filmed in Shanghai. It was directed by Wei Lo, and it became a well-known hit. It's had a slightly bigger budget than the Big Boss did, and it basically has Bruce Lee returning to Shanghai to marry his significant other. And he finds out that his teacher at the dojo, which is a school. When I had seen The Sword of Doom, which is another Japanese, well, actually, this is a Mandarin Cantonese film, so it's not entirely a Chinese film, but it was filmed in Shanghai. But when I was watching Sword of Doom, there were different houses that had different dojos who had different masters, and that is a similarity to what is in here. What happens is when he returns, and he's a character by the name of Sheng. Shen Zhen, to be exact. And he comes back and finds that his leader, Huo Yuangjia, his sifu, has died. And so there's a funeral that follows, and then another local school, a local dojo, shows up and warns that particular school, now that that leader has died, to challenge them to fight, except their leader actually taught them not to. And there's this skinny little glasses-looking antagonist that is a translator for this school, that walks up to Bruce Lee's character Shen Zhen and basically like puts his hands all over his face and all that jazz, and he makes all kinds of faces and tries to challenge one of their school members to fight, and then they call them a coward when they don't react. So when they go away, Bruce Lee's character Shen Zhen goes to their school, challenges, gives them this warning that actually was in a picture frame back to them. But before he gives them back to them, he challenges any one of them to come up against him, in a sense, to show his strength. And he beats every single one of the people in the school, including the master of the dojo. Which they in turn, in a sense, kind of go to evidently a larger school and basically tell on them. And this guy, this main guy, is like furious, and he's like, "How can this guy do this and come up against us, especially when your school is undefeated and whatnot?" So there's a little pride that is involved, and ultimately, the um, the school that Shenzhen is attached to is asked that Shenzhen be turned over to them after this episode, and he is told to go away from Shanghai and never come back. And now there is a love interest in here, and her name is Yuan Le'erth, uh, who was played by Nora Mayo, and she is kind of like the love interest in here, I believe. And she also plays in The Way of the Dragon. But in here, she is also another martial arts student, and she seems to be Shenzhen's balance. What happens is, ultimately, Shenzhen, Bruce Lee's character, finds out through his fighting that his master was actually poisoned by the leader of this local dojo, and he ends up going after the leader of all of these dojos, and then the ending of this is just, wow. But if you don't know anything about Bruce Lee's martial arts, he's quite an animal. He's got some high kicks and quite some footwork involved in his stances. And he's definitely, even though he's a small man, he definitely can pack a punch with his fist. I mean, you can see that he's got quite some strength in his fists, and I think that's why this is somewhat called Fist of Fury. In fact, he goes by a nickname in here called Fist of Fury. Now, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about in here is the fact that when he actually fights, he makes all kinds of noises. He goes like, "Wah!" Yeah. So in a way, he kind of reminds me of an animal. You don't normally hear all of this when you're seeing a martial arts film, and he is what made. In a way, I was laughing at these parts, but there was also a sadness to his character, and I really enjoyed, the storyline, the revenge plot in here, and the fact that the law was against him, even though all of these guys did a wrong. Where was the justice that was done for him and for his people and for his leader? And that's the thing that I think that this was kind of a punch. The law wasn't exactly lawful, and maybe maybe it was an underlying message in this film. But I really enjoyed the acting in here. The dubbing was actually really good in here. I tried listening to it in the Cantonese reading, but it's hard to read subtitles at a certain point. So I certainly enjoyed this film. I was entertained. This was a first time watch for me, and I could see why Bruce Lee was very well liked in the mainstream martial arts scene. So hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check out the other reviews that I have out there. Yeah. Um, I just don't um, have anything else to say about this film that I can, except for the fact that you just go and see it. I mean, it was entertaining. There was definitely a lot of action. Definitely um, a, a, a way. I love his high kicks, man. I mean, it was just brilliant to see him jump through, especially going up against that Russian. Uh, 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 it was amazing to see. I mean, there were some over the top scenes where you don't know exactly what could have happened, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed this film. And I want others to enjoy this film as well. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page. If you have not, definitely check out my other reviews. I know I might have repeated a few things, but yeah, I just love talking about films in general. And I thought this was a really good film, really solid. So check it out on your own, and let me know what you thought of the film down below. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are.